2010 Ducks might have been the best team in school history. Of course, after a perfect 12-0 regular season, Oregon played for its first ever national championship. The opponent, Cam Newton, those undefeated Auburn Tigers. Oregon took the lead in the second after an 8-yard pass to LaMichael James made it 11-7. But Auburn rattled off 12 unanswered points and led by 8 late in the fourth quarter.
However, less than 3 minutes to play, James caught a 2-yard touchdown with a 2-point conversion, and the game was tied at 19. Auburn responded with a 73-yard drive, and who could forget that Michael Dyer play? The freshman running back seemed like he was stopped after just 5-yard gain, but his knee never touched the ground. He took off for a 37-yard gain, and the Tigers kicked a 19-yard game-winning field goal as time expired. 22-19 was the final, leaving the Ducks heartbroken after suffering their first loss of the year. And that Michael Dyer play, boy, that's the kind of like the backbreaker there.
That's the one that you still kick at, and you look at the game in '09, LeGarrette Blount, you kick that ball out of the back of the end zone. To me, it's those missed opportunities in games like this. When you get them, you got to make those plays. But you look back at who they went up against. Cam Newton, a beast right now in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, he's probably having the best rookie season at quarterback maybe ever, you know, taking the Carolina Panthers from where they were last year all the way to almost respectable now, you know. Of course, he has a great running game. But
yeah, not that it makes a Duck fan feel better that you're losing to a guy that's going to maybe be an all-pro one day, but yeah, you can certainly look back and go, yeah, that was the Cam Newton season. He was pretty good. You know who else is pretty good? Our guys down in California. The Ducks have been trying to pick up an elusive BCS Bowl victory, and for some fans still feeling a little let down after losing last year. But now we'll go back live where we're joined by Tom Ward and our former Oregon receiver, one of our favorite guests on Inside the Pack. It's Cristin McLemore, Tom.
That's right. He is one of our favorite guests on Inside the Pack. He is Cristin McLemore, the former Oregon receiver. And Cristin, you played in this game back in 1995. That game also played on January 2nd. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, Tom. Love to be here. Yeah, it's an exciting time to be back here, the Rose Bowl. It's been about 16 years since I've been here last, and looking forward to a great game.
Well, certainly when you talk about this game, a lot of pressure on Chip Kelly in this game to win it, because as this has gone along in his coaching tenure, he's been known for not winning these types of games.
Yeah, I think it's do or die for Chip in regards to winning the big games. We've got to show and prove for this BCS quality teams. We have it in the last 3 years, as well as the LSU game at the beginning of the season. So this is going to be a big test for Chip and the squad and see how things go.
So Chip Kelly enters this game with Wisconsin with a 33-6 mark in his tenure, but it's his 0-2 mark in those BCS bowl games that has drawn some criticism that Kelly would like to put to an end with a win here. In Chip Kelly's first season at Oregon, the Ducks averaged over 36 points per game, but managed less than half of that in the Rose Bowl against that silver bullet defense of Ohio State. Then in the BCS title game against Auburn, the Duck offense was stymied again. Oregon's 19 points against a stout Tiger defense led by Nick Fairley was well under half of the Ducks' season average of 47 points per game. So what has been the story? For one, Oregon's inability to move the ball against top-notch defenses. Against Auburn, the Ducks' top-ranked rushing attack netted just 75 yards, and in the 2010 Rose Bowl, the Buckeyes held Oregon to just 210 total yards.
We've lost 6 games in 3 years. So the fact that you can point to, 5 of those games, everybody's looking for a common denominator. There's all different factors in them, So, we lost 1 in a national championship game on a field goal with no time left on the clock. We've been close in every game we played, so that's a good thing when you can sit there and tick off the only losses that we've had and then try to discuss what the reasons are why you lost those games.
Is it that with time to prepare, a good defense can scheme a way to slow down the Ducks? Wisconsin co-defensive coordinator Chris Ash says he believes that extra time does help coordinators come up with an effective game plan.
If you had to prepare for this offense in the normal game week, it would be hard, very hard, unless it's something you see every day from your offense. And I think that's why they have so much success, because it is a hard prep from the tempo, the types of plays, and just the talent that they have on the field.
No matter which coach you believe, one thing is certain: the numbers don't lie when it comes to Oregon's offensive output in bowl games the past 2 seasons. Will it be 3 in a row, or will the blur get into full gear on Monday?
Is this the year we see the Oregon offense finally click in a big bowl game?
Oh, definitely. I think this is our time. I think a lot of people are hungry. Losing these last 2 bowl games, we're trying to let everyone know that we can finish.
Well, when you look at this game, I mean, over the course of Chip Kelly's history, you've had the LSU game in the season opener, 2 bowl losses, and of course going back to his first game as the Ducks head coach, that 19-8 loss in Boise, where the offense just didn't look like itself, and that's been the case in some of these big games.
Yeah, certainly. This game, they have to come out and produce offensively. We cannot have low scoring and low out production games. We've got to put points on the board.
Well, one of the things that he joked about this week, Chip Kelly that is that one of the things he's learned in the BCS bowl games is that you don't resod a field a week prior to the game, as they did at University of Phoenix Stadium last year in Glendale. He said they don't do that here at the Rose Bowl. That's the lush green field that we know out there. So that's good news for Oregon. What do you like in this matchup when you look at the Oregon offense versus the Wisconsin defense?
One of the things, Tom, I really enjoy is that it's been theorized that Oregon operates under the OUTA loop theory. Armed forces, law enforcement use this theory against the enemy. This week, Wisconsin's the enemy. OUTA loop is the object is to observe, orient, decide, and attack. Oregon loves to catch them in the observe or the orient phase of this. That's the obligation that is going to be committed to them, and they have to perform this week.
Well, we see Oregon doing a lot of that in regular season games and games against opponents where it's clear that they have the advantage. We see LaMichael James and Kenyon Barner out of the backfield on wheel routes, and we see LaMichael James at times being able to go right up the middle as he did against the Arizona Wildcats a couple of times this year.
Yes, certainly. One of the things I'm going to look for this game is Duran to come out and be effective offensively throwing the ball deep. Wisconsin has shown their weaknesses in the secondary. They've been taken deep quite a bit, as well as been very, very difficult for them to defend up the middle. So I'm looking for some high output for those guys.
Yeah, we have seen in a Big Ten title game, definitely that Wisconsin defense is vulnerable. Kirk Cousins lit it up in that game. They scored 39 points, and frankly, the Wisconsin secondary got caught on its heels on a few plays.
Certainly, you know, offensively, Oregon with their attack mode, they're going to catch people off, and it's tough to win games if you get caught in that situation. Oregon is going to have to come out, be productive, hold on to the ball, and they have to make those big catches.
Well, certainly it's been talked about that this could be a shootout, but as Nick Aliotti mentioned this week, we had 2 teams last year in the BCS title game that were supposed to go up and down the field, and that did not happen. What are your thoughts on a prediction for this game? Will it be a shootout, or will the defenses rule the day?
Well, I think in big games, typically defenses have ruled the day, but I really feel that this Oregon offense has played a big game every game this season. They've had to prepare for this. I'm looking for a high output. I really think that Oregon's going to comfortably come away with a victory.
Cristin McLemore, former Oregon receiver, thank you for joining us once again. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Well, we are still rolling on this Return to the Roses special. We have plenty more straight ahead, and when we come back, we'll focus on the other side of the ball in the Oregon defense. Former Ducks J.D. Nelson and Brent Haberly will join us. Stick around.